Hello, my name is Shaya. I'm from Baghdad, Iraq. I was born in 1966, March 29th, 1966. I come from 7 siblings, me being the youngest, 4 brothers and 3 sisters. And my community in Iraq was predominantly Islamic, and we were one of the few Christian countries around in the neighborhood. The type of people that lived around us were predominantly military people, somewhat of professionals, maybe a few doctors, few engineers, but predominantly military people. As I said, I left when I was 5 years old. So I didn't have a job back then. I was too young to carry a job. My feelings about home is, from what I remember from my last visit to Iraq, was pretty nice. Lots of palm trees. Being as a third world country, it needs a lot of renovations, a lot of technology as it's continuing to progress. However, with the latest wars and different regimes taking place, the country has gone downhill.
What was your family like?
My family was a Catholic family. It's a very, very small percentage of a Chaldean descent. Chaldeans primarily come from north part of Iraq, which have approximately 5% of the total population. At that time, the population was approximately 32 million. So as you see, Iraq, being Chaldean, is a very small minority. My dad was very religious, my mom was very religious, and we practiced Catholic faith. As part of the reason why my family decided to leave Iraq, with a little background, my father held a pretty high position in the government. He was a head accountant with high levels. I think it was a master's degree back then, from Britain, well educated, spoke 6 different languages. Once again, part of the reason my dad and my mother decided to leave Iraq was that a lot of political pressure. As being a person from a Catholic religion and knowing that Iraq is predominantly an Islamic country, 66% of that country is predominantly Islamic from the Shiite faith. The other 30% is from a Sunni faith, and then you got other miscellaneous such as Chaldeans, Christians, Kurdish, and what have you. So as facing a lot of political pressure, as a man being in high government position, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure to resign. It was unfortunate that my dad came home within the last couple of days and decided that we are going to leave the country. Mind you, we had a pretty big house there with cars, furnished. From what I can remember, the only thing we ended up taking, or my dad and my mom, was money. As we continued with the journey, it was unfortunate to say that everything was left behind. The only thing was that 2 of my brothers ended up staying back to finish up their college. My sisters and I and my other brother ended up leaving the country. As we left Iraq, we ended up taking a taxi from South Iraq, which is known as a city called Basra. From Basra, we went to Kuwait, and then Kuwait, we took a flight to the U.S. by, obviously, airplane. We flew into John F. Kennedy Airport, and that was in the year of 1975, I believe. And from JFK Airport, we went through the immigration process, which my aunt was here originally as an American citizen, had started the process of sending us an invitation here to the U.S. So from New York, we flew here to Detroit, and we ended up staying with my aunt for about 3 months which was at the time was in the city of Southfield, I believe, Detroit, Michigan. And it was quite a journey. I mean, as a young kid that's 5 years old, at that time, you know, coming in at that particular day, there was a huge blizzard here in the U.S. I think at the time there was like a 3-foot snow embankments all over. Cars stuck in the freeways. My mother is flipping out. She was freezing cold. The snow. It was a pretty crazy experience. But as we got here to the U.S., you know, as being my mother, who was a pretty strict person, they had taken us to the beaches, and it was really unfortunate seeing that my mother had to see all the women in bikinis and short bikinis, and really didn't sit too well with my mom. So wanted to pack up and go back to the old country. So I just could remember flashbacks of that a little bit as I started going to school. At the time was I think it was Bernie Junior High, and I hardly knew any English, so you can imagine coming up through the grades and learning how to mix with different people and not knowing 2 words of English. So it was quite an experience for me. Thank God that till today, you know, I do have an engineering degree, and through all the hard work and that I put in, I was able to succeed and be where I'm at today.
How did you get to Hamtramck?
From Hamtramck, after we got settled in, and then we moved. My dad bought a house in the city of Lathrop Village at the time, and he went to work immediately as an accountant because of his back experience, and so we were able to purchase a house. Plus, we had some money from the old country. We purchased a house. My sisters went to school, went to Shrine High School. My brothers ended up going to college, and they were working and be able to help with the family and the expenses. From then, my dad passed away, and then we ended up moving to Farmington Hills, and we purchased a home in Farmington Hills then, and we were there for a couple years. And then I seen an ad in the newspaper. They were the city of Hamtramck looking for a DPW director. From my back experience and my background as an engineer and you know, specialty in water and sewerage, I applied, and then I was hired at the time by the emergency financial manager, Louis Schimmel. And then from that point, I came to Hamtramck, worked in Hamtramck, but I didn't live in Hamtramck yet. I was commuting back and forth between Hamtramck and Farmington Hills until my mother passed away. May God rest her soul. And then I was forced to sell everything because it was a pretty big house, and it was just only me. Everybody was married, had their own kids and families. So I moved to Hamtramck, and I was fortunate to meet my wife over here, who happens to be of a Polish descent, and here I am. So, like I said, I finally met my beautiful wife here through my course of my employment in the city of Hamtramck as a DPW director, and I've been here since. I'm going on 10 years here in Hamtramck, in this wonderful city full of diverse and different ethnicities that this city has. As far as home here in the United States versus home back in Iraq, I love this great country. This great country is the land of milk and honey. It's the land of opportunity for a person from any type of ethnicity. You come to this great country, it gives you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, not only to study, to get a job, to raise a family, and you're free to do that. I cannot stress on the fact that this is you are free to do whatever you want within reason of the law. Versus back home in Iraq, you are constantly under pressure, under different political stress, and as well as religious stress. Iraq has a lot, it has a lot to offer, but it's just religion plays a big role, especially for a small minority like the Chaldeans. I thank this country, this great nation of ours. It houses different types of people. It gives opportunity after opportunity. It gave me an opportunity to be who I am today. I cannot thank this country for what it has done for me. Kids, I don't have any children, but my brothers, my nieces, my nephews all have the opportunity to go to school and become Americans, true Americans. And even if it takes bearing arms to protect this country, I will be the first to bear arms, because this is the land of milk and honey. It is a great nation. God bless this country. As far as my feelings about Hamtramck, my Hamtramck is a nice, beautiful city. It needs leaders. It needs a person that can lead this city into the future. I don't see that. I don't really see that. There are too many people busy with personal agendas. This city, it was a great city. I mean, it starts out from Germans coming over, then the Polish people, then you got Albanians, Bosnians, Arabs, Bengalis, what have you. It's a great, diverse city. And it's a good feeling for people to interact among each other and still get along and still call this home. But once again, I think it needs strong leadership and taking care of the people, not personal